Hello everybody, welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is Season 2, Episode 13. And so what that really means is today is Part 3 of the topic flip that we've been addressing over the last couple of days as well. Now, I've gotten a lot of good feedback on this portion because I understand a lot of you guys really want to learn how to run your deal analysis and how to do flip deals properly. And many of you actually made a suggestion that maybe I should tag on Burr onto this right after. So instead of doing wholesale and assignment tomorrow and the day after as originally planned, I actually think your suggestion makes a lot of sense. So that's what we're going to do. That way the continuation is there and we can factor in the other strategies in there as well, okay? So today we're going to carry on with the whole flip topic or the flip strategy, however you want to look at this. And today is episode 13 now. So if you need to go back and rewatch episode 11 and 12 from this season, just so that you can actually catch up to everything that we're doing today, that'll be awesome. So in the last couple of days, we actually talked about the time frame that you actually need in order to do a proper flip. However, we also define first and foremost what a proper flip really is. It really is just putting cosmetics works onto a property, okay? So the moment you start to break down walls, make any sort of structural changes or adding a suite to it, that is actually going beyond what is typically and traditionally classified as a regular flip, okay? And so I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page about that. And yesterday we started to speak to how you can run your numbers. Today, I'm going to leverage one of the sample deals that we've recently done to give you an idea in terms of how you can budget things in as well. And so just because I'm creating something that is more universally applicable, there were a lot of numbers that we went through yesterday. I did not actually give you a very solid suggestion in terms of what you need to put in. However, I'm going to use one of the deals, as I mentioned, in our market, in the market that I live in. It doesn't mean that it's the only market that I apply this strategy in, because remember, from season 1, I keep talking about SMP, strategy, market, and property. And at Trust Your Talent, when we train, we always tell people that you need to actually at least employ what we call the 2x2 approach. And what that means is you want 2 strategies and 2 different markets that you can invest in. Why? Because diversification in itself is actually the key to creating more security to building your portfolio in both the long term and the short term as well, okay? So yesterday we quickly went through, well, rule number 1, which is also making money in the buy. This is the biggest rule that all professional and educated real estate investors will have to do. And the funny thing is, it's not even about being in real estate. Remember, real estate is just a vehicle. For those of you who might be in business brokering out there, you understand the concept. The idea is finding something that you can actually add value to it. And so this is also why at this point, I know I didn't talk about it on the first day, however, a lot of people basically just call this forced appreciation. And that is exactly what separates us from the recreational and the amateur investors. We're always constantly lining up at show homes, constantly lining up and waiting for brand new condo bills to launch. So again, nothing against those things, because once you've got your foundation built, you can take some bigger risks. That's totally fine. However, what we're dealing with here is how to make money and how to create that financial securities, that financial freedom, that financial confidence that we need to have in order to build that financial security for ourselves and the family and the people around us, okay? And so determining money in the buy basically is the major difference between after repair value. After repair value, typically speaking, would signify the fair market value if that property is in good condition. So there are a lot of different words and acronyms that actually signify those things. So a lot of people use ARV, some people use CMA, and some people just call it comps. whatever it is that you want to call it, the point is there needs to be a bit of a gap. And as you can see from day one of this part, we always say 40 to 70%. Okay, 40 to 70%. So what that means is you want to buy 40 to 70 cents on the dollar against the after repair value. Okay, and so yesterday we sort of went through some of the scenarios here. Okay, so the ARV here we've determined to be $500,000, and purchase price is between 200 to 350 based on the 40 to 70% rule. However, I also gave you a purchase price of $320,000. And yesterday I did make a suggestion that we use the $40 per square foot rule here. In our market, your market might be different. So just make sure that you get the proper quotes that you need from, especially if it's your first deal, minimum 3 different contractors. Unless, again, you've already got a very, very solid recommendation either from a real estate investing coach or a mentor, and you've actually seen their work as well. Basically, even if that's the case, instead of getting 3 different quotes, you want to get at least different references in terms of other investors' experiences on working with them. So time is everything, which means you always want to ask them whether or not they were able to deliver the project and complete the renovation on time, and how close do they stick to budget. And this is also why we spoke about building in whatever quotes that you get, even if the contractors already built in a contingency fund, you always want to build that in for yourself as well. Okay, it's better to always overestimate expenses. So this is again where the Asian genes comes in. I think I always like to overestimate my expenses and underestimate my revenue. So that way, if I end up with a little bit more money left over at the end of the day, at the end of every single deal that's completed, I'm a lot happier than having to pull my hair out when all of a sudden my expenses go beyond what I've actually budgeted for. Okay? So after all of that, your renos, and don't forget to account for fees. I broke it down into 2 parts just so that you can see that we have acquisition fees and then we have exit fees. One of the most common fees between these two different categories would always be your legal fees. Okay, and then in the middle you have your holding costs as well. And this is where a lot of the amateur investors forget and don't factor in, to be really honest, because again, if you are watching all the TV shows on flips, it's awesome. I get it. I love watching those transformation shows as well. Okay, when I'm at the gym, when I'm on the elliptical, this is what I'm watching. And so I get that visual impact. However, when we're actually doing deal analysis, we need to make sure holding costs, because I have yet to come across a show, and if there is one, please type it in the comment section and let me know, because I have yet to come across a TV show that show people renovations and building income properties or doing flips and renovations, how to calculate holding costs. And this is what I've given here to you as well. So today we're going to do a deeper dive by showing you one of the deals that we recently did. Okay, and so in this market, I live in Edmonton, Alberta. So my fellow Canadians, you know where that is. It's cold. However, hey, you know what? We're September 30th now, and we're hitting 22 degrees Celsius. That is like 70 degrees. That's 70-something degrees Fahrenheit, depends on where you are and when you're watching this. And it's unheard of. Last year, this time, we already got snow on the ground, okay? So it's cold. However, the point is, Edmonton, Alberta in Canada is the 5th largest city by population rankings, okay? However, it's also very unique in the sense that we have some older areas where it really desperately needs facelift, and it's needing private investors like ourselves as opposed to institutional money to help with gentrifying or cleaning up an area or really modernizing an area or just really refreshing certain neighborhoods. So my point is, it's a very unique place where, again, when you go to the top 3 most populated cities in Canada, you're looking at an average single-family home of $1 million, give and take. Okay, so right now in Edmonton, an average single-family home detached, according to CMHC, is about $360,000. And if they actually need some work, okay, here is a deal that we actually recently did. It's $200,000 in purchase price. Now, why would we buy something like that? Well, remember, the ARV, which is competitive market analysis or comparative market analysis, depending on what you like, basically shows that after you get it done, it's going to be worth anywhere between $310,000 to $335,000. This is a single family home, and I'm going to give you a bit of an idea. And this is a 70s bungalow style, okay? 70s bungalow, and it's got approximately 1,000 square feet on the main floor, plus a basement that is almost about the same size, okay? And then upstairs, you have 3-bedroom plus 1 bath, okay? And then 1 kitchen, and then 1 living space. And then basement, albeit not completely finished, it has, I'm going to do this just so that visually there's a bit of separation. There's 1 bedroom down there, plus 1 full bath, and then 1 large living room area. And it's got a detached single car garage as well. Now, the circumstance was this. The previous owner was a very, very elderly gentleman, and he no longer was able to care for the house. However, he has never, ever invested into keeping up with the maintenance or the upgrades needed for this property. So the property itself was highly, highly, highly distressed. It needed quite a bit of an update. Not structurally, just needs some new drywalls, needs new doors, new hinges, new kitchen, new appliances, new toilet, new tub, and even potentially new windows. However, the windows were actually still pretty decent. So the point is, let's keep going, okay? Our reno was $65,000. It was a much, much bigger job. So remember, $40 per 1,000 square feet. Technically, we almost had 2,000 square feet that we had to deal with. However, it only took us $65,000. And then fees in terms of exit and acquisition, or acquisition and exit, depends on how you want to look at it. Between acquisition and exit, in total, we spent $10,000. Okay, it was a little bit higher simply because we did some creative financing structure with our money investor into the deal, and then afterwards, what we had to do is making sure that we count the holding cost into this. And on this particular property, yesterday I shared with you about $800. On this particular property, it was $900 on a monthly basis for holding. And in total, this was actually a 5-month process. So this was $4,500 right there. So if you want to add it all up, okay, so really, let's do the final count here. When we got the property appraised after it was done, it was actually appraised, I'm going to use green to signify revenue, okay? Revenue was $335,000. Now, I want to share this with you, okay? Yesterday I already mentioned this. Exit fee should include your realtor's commission. Because we are in Alberta, typically the commission structure is 7% on the first $100,000 on sold prices, okay? And then 3% on the remaining balance. Now, I'm not going to nitpick with you and provide any further background details. However, I just want this to be something that'll stick so that it matches the teachings that we've gone through over the last couple of days, okay? So 335,000 is what we actually sold it for. Total expenses incurred based on everything we got up here. So 265, 275. Then we're looking at 279, 500. And let's also not forget about the fact that we have commissions to pay for. Again, depending on how many deals you've done and where you are at your journey, especially executing this strategy, if you work with the same realtor, a lot of the times you can actually work out some sort of volume agreements as well. And this is why I'm just going to stick by the book for now and just demonstrate the concept, okay? Even though this was basically 90% of our numbers in full accuracy. However, there are other arrangements which is based on the experience and the working relationship we've got so far. I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going to tell you and share with you how you actually need to run your numbers, okay? So assuming that you do this in my market as well, so selling it at 335,000, that means 7% on the first 100,000 is $7,000 in commissions. That means $235,000 is calculated at 3%. So if you punch that into your calculator, that's $7,050 plus the original $7,000 on the first 100,000. You have a total commission payable of $14,050. Now, here is where a lot of people also forget. Remember, your realtors are providing a service, which means in the country of Canada, it's subject to tax or taxes. In our province, we only have GST, okay? So that is the federal sales tax, which is 5%. So I will take the $14,050 now and add the GST on it. That means it is $14,752.5. If you're in Ontario, okay, or any other states and provinces in other countries, just make sure you get the calculations on how much you need to be paying your agents, your realtor, your real estate agent, whatever you want to call them, for at this point. Now, 335,000, okay, let's get it to the finish line, minus 279,500, and then minus 14,752.5. That means there is a leftover or total profit of $40,000, 747.5. 40,747.5. And this, as I mentioned to you, was a 5 months process. So what that really means is you basically made approximately an additional $8,000 a month, or added that to your income. So that is how we do a deeper dive into this whole scenario here. Now, as suggested, the next couple of days, we're going to build upon the idea of flip or distressed property, or really just forced appreciation, and go back into one of the most popular topics a lot of people are talking about, the BRRRR process, which is buy, renovate, okay? Buy, renovate, this is what we're talking about here, and then usually here, it's selling. Now, instead of doing that, we're going to go into rent it out, refinance it, and then you can either repeat the process and do the exact same type of project, or the point is when you extract the capital, you can now go in and reinvest it into something else. If you want to hang on to the money for now, that's totally fine too. The decision is yours. The choice is yours. That's the beauty about this, is to gain control over how you make money, how much money you want to make, and what you do with it, okay? So this will now conclude the 3-part on how you can execute a flip process. We actually touched on a lot of different things, and I wanted to end here with a deal analysis, with a deeper dive and deeper look into this. Now, if you got any questions, or if you want me to speak or elaborate further on any parts of this, make sure you let me know. Just like some of you let me know that maybe going into Bird would make more sense right now, and I totally agree. So thank you for your engagement, your participation, your comments, your love, your likes, and your shares. So if you find this valuable and you think that somebody else can actually benefit from the content that I'm sharing with you, I would really highly appreciate that you share it with them, because I really truly do believe that understanding how you protect your money and how you make your money is probably one of the most important skills that we all need to gain. Okay, and we all love real estate, and last week we talked about why invest in real estate and why use it as a strategy, or why use it as an investment vehicle. Make sure you go back to it if you haven't got the chance yet. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me again. Enjoy the rest of your day and live well.